Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are new here, my name is Libby Rogers and I am so excited for today's video. We are going to be doing a part 2 to a wedding tutorial, but we're going to be doing a little bit more of a dramatic look, as you can see. So I'm really excited to jump into it. So if you guys want to see how I create this look, then just go ahead and keep watching. So I actually already went in with my moisturizer, which was the e.l.f. Daily Hydration Moisturizer, and I've also already went in with the Nivea Post Shave Balm that I used in the last wedding tutorial makeup look, just because that is a really good primer to adhere everything to the face for the day. And yeah, so now I'm going to be going in with the Cover FX Blurring Primer in my T-zone areas to fill in any of the pores and anything like that. Okay, so I've zoomed you guys in because we're going to go into the eye portion of the tutorial. I've already done my brows off of camera. I used a brow powder, and those are the best brow products to use in my opinion on the wedding day because they are so natural, but you can still get a lot of definition. Yes, I know they're very messy, and that's because I'm trying to grow them out like I've said a million times, but I filled them in and everything like that, so they're already done, ready to go. And for my brows, I use the Brow Gal Wet / Dry Convertible Powder and Pomade Duo. So it comes with 3 powder shades, and I mixed these 2 shades together, and I guess if you wet them they become pomades. I didn't do that, I just used the powders. And this is a really great product. I got it in my BoxyCharm like a year or so ago, and it's great. I use it all the time. So now I'm going to go in with the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Eden. It is probably my favorite primer for the eyes, and I just like it a lot because it's light enough for me, one. The MAC Painterly Paint Pot is a little bit dark for me, so I have to go in with a really light powder on top of that to like cancel it out and make it a little bit lighter. But this one is just a perfect concealer shade, and it doesn't make my eyelids oily, and it prolongs the wear of my eyeshadows tremendously. It's such a good primer. I've had this primer for a very long time, and it's not even close to running out, so that's really awesome, and I use this all the time. So now I'm going to go in with just a bone colored shadow and set that primer down just to make sure that we don't have any sticky base. I know a lot of people like a sticky base, but I'm not a sticky base girl. I like my lid to be set before I go in with anything. So the first eyeshadow that I'm going to be going into is from the Modern Renaissance palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. And I'm going to be going in with the shade Blonde Fresco and putting this, really blowing it out into my crease. This is going to be a good base because it is a little more on the cool tone side, but it still complements any skin tone. So what I like to do when I'm placing a shade is I'll first take it and place it where I want it in windshield wiper motions. Once I've gotten it where I want it, I'll go in with windshield wiper motions and just really blend it and blow it out. So I'm next going to be going into a single eyeshadow from Glow Minerals in the shade Twig, and it is just like a pretty neutral toned brown, and I'm going to stick this in the crease just a little bit lower than that first shade. And I'm going to do the exact same technique where I place it where I want it, and then from there I'll go in smaller circular motions so that I don't blow it out quite as much as that first shade. Then I'm going back into the Blonde Fresco shade with my first blending brush and just going over everything, making sure that we didn't lose that pinky hue. So now I'm going back into the shade Twig that we just used, but I'm also going to take Antique Bronze from the Anastasia Beverly Hills palette. I'm going to mix those two and place them in my crease as well in the lower portion to define that area just a little bit further. The color Antique Bronze from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette does have a little hint of shimmer, but when you blend it out like I am, it usually isn't noticeable at all, so it's not going to make that area look weird on your eye. And one last time, I'm going to take that Blonde Fresco shade and just run that through over everything to make sure it's all blended out and that it still has that pinky overall look. So now we're going to do the lid shade, and if it was not a wedding makeup look, I'd probably cut my crease to just make that color even more vibrant and just to make it really stick out. But when I think of wedding makeup looks, I think of a lot of like flowing together, so using a cut crease, it wouldn't make it flow well together, if that makes sense. So I'm just going to go ahead and place it all over my lid. I think that that looks super pretty and blown out and everything, so I'm going to do that. For the first part of the lid shade, I'm going to be taking the Essence eyeshadow in the shade the Grammy Goes Glammy, and it's just a single eyeshadow and it's beautiful. It is just like a cool toned, it almost has a hint of brown, but don't let that scare you. It's still really, really beautiful. And I'm just gonna take this on my finger and I'm just gonna place this all over the lid. Also, I just let my dogs in, so if you hear them, I'm very sorry. So as you can see, while applying that shade, I got some up into my crease, but don't worry about that. We are going to go over that again and that will dust any of that off. But I put that down as a base, and now we're going to go in with the shade Vermeer from the Modern Renaissance palette and place this on the lid as well, just to add a little bit more of a pinky hue. So now that I've got those two shades applied to the lid, I'm just going to go in with that first blending brush with no extra product and just start blending out the crease just a little bit more. With blown out looks like this, it really is a lot of back and forth. You have to go into the crease, onto the lid, into the crease, onto the lid to just make sure that everything looks seamless. So I'm just going back into that crease with that first shade. And then I'm going to go in with no extra product, but with that second blending brush and just blend through that crease a little bit further to give it a little bit more definition. And lastly, going back in with the Vermeer lid shade one more time, just on the edges to make sure it's standing out. So now we're gonna go in and do a shadow liner and kind of wing it out and do this outer corner all with this liner shade. So I'm gonna take the Modern Renaissance palette and I'm going to take the shades Antique Bronze and Cypress Umber and mix those two together on an angled brush. And I'm just going to take both of them, like I said, tap them off, and then I'm just going to run this along my lash line. Okay, so I've just lined the upper lash line with that shadow. So now I'm going to take a small wing with these two shadows as well. And then we're going to kind of blend that top of the wing out into the outer corner. So I've already done this wing. It is a little messy, but that's okay because it's not going to stay that way. So I'm going to take those two same mixture of Antique Bronze and Cypress Umber, and I'm going to start deepening this outer corner, which is going to help blend out that top of the wing. So as you can see, we've just blended it in a little bit and it's completely blended out, no problems, and it is just a seamless transition. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do the other side off camera really quickly and then I'll be right back. And lastly, I'm just gonna take the shade Vermeer, the shimmer shade we put on the lid, and I'm just gonna go ahead and touch up that one area, make sure it's looking good. Okay, so I finished up the other side of the eye. So now I'm gonna go in with, I'm gonna be going in with a black eyeliner, not on my waterline, but on my upper waterline, because we're going to be applying some lashes. And if you wear lashes and your upper eyelid, like skin is showing, it looks super uneven, and we're just gonna put this on the top lash line. And if you are wanting to wear a liner that does not bleed or anything, this is the only eyeliner I recommend. It is the best. It's so silky, but once it sets and does not budge. It is so great. It's the Endless Silky Eye Pen from Pixie by Petra. So I'm just gonna lightly line my upper waterline. And because we are applying falsies, we don't need to have a certain mascara, but I like to use the Roller Lash from Benefit because it keeps my eyes lifted, keeps my lashes lifted and they don't separate from the lash when I put them on. So that's the reason I like this mascara, is we're actually going to be using some individual lashes and I'm going to do those just a little bit later. So for foundation today, I think I'm going to mix a couple, and I want to go a little bit darker than my actual skin tone so I can be a little bit darker just because. So I'm going to be taking a mixture of the foundation that we used in the last wedding makeup tutorial, which is the CoverGirl True Blend Matte Made foundation, but I'm actually going to be using a darker shade. And I'm going to mix that in with the Dermacol foundation. So this is the most full coverage foundation you will ever find in your entire life. and on its own it is way too oily for me, but just one little dot like that is going to be more than enough to add some major coverage to your foundation. So this cocktail is just going to give me a really good full coverage, but one that's going to last all day because the staying power of the True Blend foundation is amazing. Okay, so now that I've got that applied, I'm going to go in with my concealer. I'm going to be using a mixture of the Maybelline Fit Me in the shade 15 and my Tarte Shape Tape in the shade Fair Neutral. Okay, and for powder today, I'm actually going to be using a different one. I'm going to be using the MAC Prep and Prime Transparent Finishing Powder today for setting my under eyes. I'm going to go back in with that powder in just a second, but I'm actually going to set the rest of my face with the Better Skin Super Stay powder from Maybelline. And I'm just going to use some sort of kabuki brush and set the rest of my face. This powder is like magic for setting your face. It locks in the makeup, makes it last all day. And I'm just going to go in with that pretty much everywhere. This is why I wanted to use a different foundation today, because this is the only shade of this that I have. And I wanted to use it, and it's way too dark for me, so I can only use this when I'm tan because even the lightest shade is nowhere near light enough for me. Now I'm going to go back in with my sponge and set my smile lines. I'm going to let this sit for a few minutes, wipe it off, and then we'll go into bronzer. Okay, it's been sitting for a few minutes. Let me go ahead and dust that off. So now we're going to go in with bronzer, and I'm going to be taking my e.l.f. contour palette, and I'm going to be taking a mixture of the two bronzer shades and bronzing up my face. Take a little bit on the sides of the nose. Okay, I'm going to put pause on the face for now. We're going to go back into the eyes. I'm going to first take Bon Fresco and just run that underneath my eyes. Now I'm just going to take the shades Antique Bronze and Cypress Umber, the two shades that we used to deepen, and I'm going to take it on the same brush and lightly go underneath. And then I'm going to take the Infallible Longwear Eye Pencil in the shade Nude Beige, and I'm going to stick this in my waterline to open up the eyes. This always looks super weird until we have the mascara and everything on. So I'm going to go ahead and put on some false lashes. I'm going to put on some of the individual lashes from Kiss, just on like just from halfway in to the outer portions, and put those on, do my lower lash mascara, and then we'll be right back to the face. I think I want to bronze just a tad bit further. So I'm going to take my IBY Beauty contour palette, the one you guys know and love. And I'm going to be taking a mixture of the bottom two shades and just a little bit further. Okay, so for blush, I'm going to be going in with the e.l.f. blush in the shade Berry Mary. And I'm just going to be dusting this on my cheeks. And like I said in the last video, apply a lot of blush because it's going to be the first thing to go, and it's what makes your face look the most enhanced in photos. So make sure to put a lot of it on because it will fade throughout the day. So now I'm going to go in with setting spray. I'm going to go in with the All Nighter setting spray from Urban Decay. I'm almost out of this, so I'm hoping that it doesn't like leave all the dots on my face and stuff. So y'all pray for me. Okay, so I know that some people like a more subtle skin-like finish for highlighters on their wedding day, but some people like a super glamorous highlight that's really beaming and just really enhances the face. So today we're going to be doing one that is a lot more dramatic than the one we did the other day in my video. So I'm going to be going in with the Pixie by Petra Glowy Gossamer Duo in this shade Subtle Sunrise. And I'm going to be taking the lighter shade right on the highest points. Oh my goodness. And just a little bit above the brow bone. Okay, so now that we are absolutely glowing, let's go in with some lips. So today we are going to be going in first with the Glow Minerals Precision Lip Pencil in the shade Natural. It's just a beautiful, almost your lip color, but better lip liner. And I love the formula of these lip liners. So I'm going to be going in with that first and keeping my shape of my lips super natural, maybe overlining a tad bit, but not much. Okay, so I've lined my lips. Every single time I line my lips, I realize how uneven my lips are, but it's fine. It's fine. So now we're going to be going in with the Dose of Colors, a mauve story from the second collaboration with Desi and Katie. This is such a good lip product. Their Velvet Mattes are the best formula for a wedding day because they are like a lipstick, but they dry down, but they don't emphasize the texture on your lips. So I'm going to go in with the shade called A Mauve Story. It's just a beautiful, beautiful color, and I feel like it's a color that will complement any skin tone. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. I absolutely love how it turned out. I think it is so beautiful and really enhances the features, but also is a little more dramatic for those that like a little bit of a more dramatic look on their wedding day. And I love all the products that I used. I feel like they would work for pretty much anyone, but also just make sure that you're trying some out before your wedding day so you have the most beautiful makeup that lasts forever on your wedding day. And yeah guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please make sure to give this video a thumbs up before you leave. Subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and once you have subscribed, please turn on the little bell notification so you're notified every single time I upload, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.